Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Wow, that's so great. I want to start off by saying a very big hello, Wisconsin. It's great to be with you. And I'll also say this. I have never spoken where I had so many people behind me. I have a whole stadium behind. I want to just thank everybody. This is a great turnout. They wanted a bigger space. They got a bigger space. Because 7 days from now, we are going to win this state, and we are going to 4 more incredible years in the White House. Thank you. This election is a choice between a Trump super recovery or a Biden depression. That's what you're going to have with a raise of taxes. The biggest tax increase in our history. It's ridiculous. It's a choice between a Trump boom or a Biden lockdown. Let's lock it all down. And by the way, speaking of lockdowns, let's get your governor to open it up. Let's get him to open it up. It's a choice between our plan to cut your taxes or even, and I have to tell you, we've given you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country. You know that. Biggest regulation cut in the history of our country. And Sleepy Joe Biden, his plan is to raise your taxes at a level that our country has never raised taxes before. Somehow that doesn't work too well. Do you agree? I don't think so. I've never heard of it before, but that's okay. You can't hear of everything, right? All my life I've watched people want to cut taxes. Here's a guy, he's running on a basis of let's raise everybody's taxes. Next week, Wisconsin's going to answer the call of history. Once again, we had a great victory here. Didn't we have a great, remember that 4 years ago? They said Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin. It's been a long time since a Republican did that, but we're actually much higher now than we were then. We have a campaign that's actually more enthusiastic, and that was, I would say, that had to be #1 in history 4 years ago. But you know what? This is going to be the most important election in the history of our country, because you see what's happening. The radical lefts. And you're going to defeat Biden and dark money donors and corrupt special interests. One of the most important issues in this election is law and order. We say it, law and order. Joe Biden and his party incite violence and hatred against our police officers, and we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. Remember the debate, the first debate, I said, which one did you like better, the first one or the second one? He says both. That's a fan. He said, my man is there. Yeah. Did anybody see the last one? Anybody watching? Seems to have had a very big impact. We learned a lot about him. He's, number one, he's against oil, gas, probably likes wind, but wind is very intermittent. Let's watch the president tonight on television. I'm sorry, darling, the wind's not blowing. Last night, Philadelphia was torn up by Biden-supporting radicals. 30 police officers, Philadelphia police officers, great people, they were injured, some badly. Biden stands with the rioters, and I stand with the heroes of law enforcement. And you know what? They can do their job very easily. Just let them do their job. The Biden-Harris plan would end cash bail. You know, they want to have cash bail, so everyone just walks around, no matter what they do, ends cash bail, freeing 400,000 dangerous criminals. It would slash police budgets all over the country. It would tie the hands of every police officer in the country, and they would appoint anti-police prosecutors in every community in America. I don't think that's for Wisconsin. We know each other well. Biden is soft and weak and too scared to be president. He doesn't want to be president, let's face it. You know, you got this bad body language here. There's a lot of bad body. His man knows body language better than any man I know. That's a lot of bad body language from Joe. You know, he got out yesterday. You saw that? Because we're making speeches all over Pennsylvania. And he got out, and he got out of Delaware, and he said, what's the closest point to Pennsylvania? It was just a few minutes from his basement. And he went and made a speech, and that was a mistake because they had to take him off the stage because he didn't know where the hell he was, right? That didn't work out too well. No, because he had a lid, you know, like a garbage can. You put it in the can. It's a lid. It's called a lid. But he doesn't want to be president. One thing about this job, you got to want it. You got to want it. This is tough. This is tough. And doing this, I don't usually say it, but I say it, doing this. And unlike Biden, who's made a fortune in politics, what a fortune. The press is not allowed to write about that, though. But Biden made a fortune. You know what? This has cost me billions of dollars, and you know, I could not be happier because we have done things that nobody else could have done in the first 3.5 years. There's been no administration that's done what we've done in the first 3.5 years with our military, with our vets, with regulations, with cutting taxes. Biden's running mate, the most liberal member in the U.S. Senate. She makes Bernie Sanders look like he's a conservative. Even urged their supporters to donate to a fund to bail out rioters in Minneapolis where they had such problems until the National Guard went in and they stopped it. Would you say that was about, what, 22 minutes? It was all over. Including an attempted cop killer. They wanted to bail him out. The policies will set cop killers free. We believe if you murder a police officer, you should get the death penalty. And I know you're a state that believes. You murder a police officer. You saw a month ago the two young officers sitting in a car, and the guy comes up, no, you do that stuff, and you can't get away with it. When the violent mob came to Kenosha, do you know Kenosha? Everybody know Kenosha? Biden opposed sending in the National Guard. We sent in the National Guard, and we saved Kenosha. We saved Kenosha. Kenosha wouldn't be standing like that. And I got a lot of credit. Thank you to the sheriff and so many others for their support. They've actually came out and supported me. Thank you very much. Where's the sheriff? Is he around here someplace? What a hell of a show. Thank you very much. That's great. I appreciate it, too. And it's the first time you ever did it. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Fantastic. Good man. Good man. It took generations to build the America that we know and love. But if the radical left gained power, it would take them only a matter of months to burn it down, tear it down, or destroy it. I'm the only one standing between you and the left-wing mob. I hate to tell you, there aren't too many of us. But we're standing in your Second Amendment and many other things, right? Biden has not only declared war on police. I mean, you know, it really is. My father taught me a long time, don't use the word cops, because the word cops, that's a little slang. Always call them police.
So I never use it. You know, I see cops, but sometimes it's not bad. Sheriff, let me ask you, cops or police, or doesn't it matter? If it's done with the heart, who cares, right? Right? If it's done with the heart. So like I said, he declared war on the cops. And it's not working out too well. You're going to see something. You're going to see a giant red wave on Tuesday. You're going to see a red wave like they've never seen before, and they saw a very big one. I'll tell you what, they got a glimpse on 4 years ago, because that was, I remember they said, where did these people come from? Where did they come from? They're great Americans. They don't want anything. They just want that level playing field, and they came out and they voted, and this is going to be bigger. This is going to be bigger, and they know it. They know it. They know it. They don't like to report it. They see what's happening. They see what's happening, Mike, don't they, huh? They get it. It's going to be very big, and it's going to be beautiful. And it's probably going to start. It doesn't have to start on Tuesday. It can start earlier, early voting. You want to be there. You know, these ballots, you see, was I right about the ballots? It's messed up like you wouldn't believe. Now they say, we'd like to get the ballots and maybe get them within a few days of the election, and we'll take 10 days to count them up. Oh, good. Let's let the whole world wait while you count your ballots. And you know what happens while they're counting them? They're dumping more ballots in there, okay? Where did they come from? No, they have to. We had a great ruling right here. We had a great ruling, right? Got that yesterday. Supreme Court said, nope, that's your date. It's called November 3rd. That's your date, right? But Sleepy Joe declared war on American workers, and Biden spent the last 47 years outsourcing your jobs. You got hit hard. Opening your borders. You don't have borders. You don't have a country. And sacrificing American blood and treasure in endless, foreign, ridiculous wars. Countries, most of you, including even most of the people, they never even heard of these countries. We're bringing them all back home. You know that, right? They're all coming back home. Afghanistan, Iraq, keeping some in Syria. If you don't mind, we're keeping the oil. You know, they should have done that. They should have done that with Iraq. Remember, I said, don't go into Iraq, but if you go in, at least keep the oil. We didn't keep the oil. Biden was a cheerleader for NAFTA and China's entry into the World Trade Organization. He repeatedly tried to slash Medicare and Social Security. He's a shill, in a sense, for foreign countries. You got to take a look at this guy's record. Of course, right now, he has no idea where he is. So that's an entirely different problem. That's a very big, different problem. But who the hell? Look, we have to say it like it is. Hey, we have the greatest country in the world, and we have potential like no country has, and we can't play games. We can't play games. We can't. And besides that, he's not a nice guy. Okay, just so you know, he was never a nice guy, so I feel better. If he was a nice guy, I wouldn't say it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Decade after decade, Biden twisted his knife into the back of Wisconsin workers, but workers throughout the United States. You don't have to take my word for it. For a special group of people, the people of Wisconsin, I spent a lot of money on this crazy video. Look at this. And you're going to see it. I hope the people back here can see it. Can you see it too? I hope. Oh, that's terrible. All right, you'll take my word for it. Go ahead, play.
My problem is I voted for NAFTA. I'm supporting NAFTA because I think it is a positive thing to do. And I do not pretend to be an expert on international trade matters.
Trade agreements like NAFTA and permanent normal trade relations with China, which forced American workers to compete against people who are making pennies an hour, has resulted in the loss of 160,000 jobs.
The president is absolutely right when he says that China has been cheating for 25 years and that Bill Clinton didn't do enough about it, George W. Bush didn't do enough about it, Barack Obama didn't do enough about it.
Rising China is an incredibly positive development for not only China, but the United States and the rest of the world. Rising China is a positive development. It is in our self-interest that China continue to prosper. We want to see China rise. China is a great nation, and we should hope for the continued expansion.
China is not our enemy.
We talk about China as our competitor. We should be helping. The idea that China is going to eat our lunch is bizarre.
The idea that they are our competition, they're going to beat us, is bizarre.
They're not bad folks. China's not a problem.
Allowing China into the World Trade Organization, which he supported, extending most favored nation status to China, which he supported, those steps allowed China to take advantage of the United States by using our own open trade deals against us.
No.
Do you think in retrospect that you were naive about China?
No.
But doesn't he deserve some credit for that? It's better. The USMCA is better than NAFTA.
It is better than NAFTA. I never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did. Show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on the website.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel. No more, no new fracking. I gradually move away from fracking.
And I think it's critically important on day one that we end any fossil fuel leases on public lands.
But what about, say, stopping fracking and stopping pipeline infrastructure and
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
I have one final question.
Would he close down the oil industry?
It falls.
Or would you close down the oil
By the way, I would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I will
that's
transition.
a big statement.
It is a big
In
statement.
terms of business, that's the biggest statement.
Okay.
Because
We have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that, Texas? Will you
Okay.
remember that, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma?
Vice President.
Now, to be fair, maybe Biden's not telling us because he's forgotten his own plans. Watch Biden's staff quickly swoop in to shuffle him along during a quickie escape the basement trip to Pennsylvania.
Here's the deal. One of the things that is important is that keep in mind, although they're going to vote on Barrett, I think today.
That was terrifying.
What kind of country we're going to be? 4 more years of Georgia, he's going to find ourselves in a position where if Trump gets elected, we're going to be in a different world.
That was yesterday. That was all yesterday. So that took place yesterday. Every day we could put up another treat. The whole thing is ridiculous. The whole thing, until the plague came in from China, I didn't even have a race. And then it came in and we did a great job. We saved millions of lives, 2 million lives, 2.2 million it was supposed to be. And this guy, don't ban it. You're xenophobic, right? Don't ban China. Don't ban China. This is in January, or very early on, very, very early. Everybody said don't ban. I'm not blaming anybody, but they all said don't ban. I said, it's a heavily infected country. It's starting from there. I banned China. Then I banned Europe with all of the problems they were having with Spain and Italy and France and everybody. And I banned Europe. And 2.5 months later, he was saying don't ban. And then he runs for president. He lucks out because Pocahontas decided to stay in. So she took a lot of votes away from Bernie. Not too many. She didn't do too well. But she took enough away that he ends up winning on Super Tuesday, right? And all of a sudden, I got this guy running, and he starts complaining that I should have moved faster, but he was 2.5 months behind. And I said, that's going to be hard to explain, but I have to explain it to people. One thing nice is when you put this thing up here, it saves you a lot of words, right? It saves you a lot of words. And then the other thing, remember, for a year, we will not frack. Now, it affects you because of your energy costs and all of the things. That affects everybody. We're right now energy independent. It's a great thing. First time. But it really affects, can you imagine Texas, Pennsylvania, the different places, Ohio, so many places, North Dakota. Can you imagine? Take Texas. I mean, He's against oil, he's against guns, and he's against religion, right? Other than that, he's wonderful. He's just perfect. And then they say, it's a very close race in Texas. I don't think so. You're against oil, guns, and God. You don't have a close race in Texas. I don't think so. But they said it the same thing 4 years ago, that Texas is too close to call. It's going to be a very, very tough race for Donald Trump. Then it was Donald, right? Now they call me president, out of respect, I'm sure, for the office. It will be a very, very, very tough race. I mean, the polls have closed in Texas. Donald Trump has won the state of Texas. It was like all in one thing. They don't do that unless you have a landslide. So we had and now they do the same thing again. Well, this time at least they say I have a little lead. How can you have a little lead when I'm the oil person we needed to fire up your factories and we can't. They don't even know how to do it. They have like AOC +3. They say, okay, we'll get rid of all fossil fuels. We have a problem in Wisconsin. We're doing very well. We have a lot of factories. We have a lot of plants. How are we going to fire them up? She has no clue. She has no clue. I don't even think she studied it. Maybe in high school she studied it, but probably not in college. Did she go to college? Tell me, did she? Because I don't know. I don't know her background, but it is not heavy into the environment. All of a sudden, she comes up with the Green New Deal. And these people all did because they have to, because the radical left wants them. The Green New Deal will cost $100 trillion. If we have 100 perfect years, the greatest years in the history of our country, we can't make it with $100 trillion spent on the Green New Deal. In 2016, Wisconsin voted to fire this corrupt political establishment, and you elected an outsider as president who is finally putting America first. And if I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, it's because I'm not a politician. It's one of the reasons I was elected. If I was a politician, I probably wouldn't have been elected, right? If I don't always play by the rules of Washington and the Washington establishment, it's because I was elected to fight for you, and I'm fighting for you harder than any president has ever fought for you. Together, we'll continue to fight for American workers, support our police, defend our Second Amendment, which is under siege, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine, but it is under siege. Secure our borders. And you know, the wall is up to over 400 miles right now. We have very secure border. Over 4, we're going to have it finished very soon. They don't talk about it anymore. You know, they used to go, he will never get it built, because that was like, the Democrat Party was so against it. They said it was obsolete. Use drones so we can watch everybody pour into the border, right? Let's send a drone up there, right? Walls and wheels, right? Walls and wheels never get obsolete. There's about the only 2 things I know of that don't get obsolete. Everything else is obsolete about 15 minutes after you figure it out. And ensure more products are proudly stamped with that wonderful, beautiful phrase, made in the USA, right? We will deliver record prosperity, epic job growth, and a safe vaccine that eradicates the virus and quickly ends this pandemic. And you know, with the fake news, everything is COVID. COVID, COVID, COVID. I had it. Here I am, right? I had it. First Lady had it. Barron had it, but Barron had it for about 12 seconds. Young, that immune system, young. No, it's COVID. You turn on the news. COVID, COVID. You know when they're going to stop talking about it so much? November 4th, you're right. November 4th. No, it's a whole crazy thing. I mean, it's too complicated to explain. These people are very corrupt, very dishonest, but they got a lot of problems. On November 4th, you'll hear we're doing extremely well. You'll see. You know, they used to always say that Europe, look at Europe, look at Europe. Well, first of all, they count their cases totally differently. But look at Europe. Well, they have a big spike. And you know what? It's going to go down. And we had a spike in Miami, we had a spike in Texas, Arizona. It's all way down to very low numbers. But I'll tell you, all they want to talk about is COVID. But the good news, on the 4th, they'll stop talking. You watch. They'll stop talking. You get out that red wave, just get out. We have to win this election. This is the most important election we've ever had. We can't let this radical left socialist group take over. And I've been saying it now for a long time because I see it. There's this inclination by a group of people. Our country will never be a socialist nation. We will never become a socialist nation. Normal life will fully resume. That's all we want is normal life. 7 months ago, right? We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. Everybody was doing well, best numbers we've ever had. And next year will be the greatest economic year in the history of our country. You see what's happening. You see how it's being built up. And by the way, I'd love to do stimulus, but Crazy Nancy does not want to do it. She wants to get bailout money for her Democrat-run states that are high crime and doing badly. And I spoke for Wisconsin when I said, no, thank you, Nancy. Have a good time. We'll get big stimulus right after the election's over. Hopefully we can take back the House, too. Be nice. Get rid of her. Get rid of her, Speaker. We'll get Kevin in there. Kevin would be good. You know who Kevin is? Kevin McCarthy. If Biden and the Democrat socialists are elected, they will bury your you know what's going on, right? With your regulations. I've got your regulations down to a level, but we can go further. We have statutory requirements. We're going further. They'll bury your family and yourself in regulations, terminate religious liberty, dissolve our borders, indoctrinate our children with that really bad stuff that they want to teach in schools, which we've largely ended, but it can be started again, and destroy the suburbs beyond repair. Suburban women, you're gonna love me. You better love me. Did you see 60 Minutes the other night? I always joke, I say, suburban women, I'm getting rid of that there was a regulation that essentially destroyed the suburbs, okay? It would have. You know who was in charge of it? Who would have been? Cory Booker. Good luck, Cory. He's another beauty. We deal with some real beauties. But we had a regulation where they can build low-income housing and projects in a neighborhood near you, right in a neighborhood near you, in the suburbs, right? So the fake news was saying, we think that Donald Trump is having problems with suburban women. I said, why? Because I'm going to stop crime from going to the suburbs? Because, Antifa and the anarchists, they view the suburbs as next. That's what they would like, right? So the suburban woman wants law and order, they want safety, and they don't want a regulation that's going to destroy the suburbs. And then I listened to these people talk about how, 4 years ago they talked about the same thing. They said, women will not be voting for Donald Trump. And then after about 4 hours, and they declared total victory for Trump, they said, he cannot get to 270. He cannot. This was in the afternoon. He can, and for about 6 months before that, by the way, didn't just start in there. Donald Trump cannot get, you need 270, right? Cannot get to 270. He cannot get, and they were right. We got 306. Yeah. Well, we picked up a place called Wisconsin. That helped a little bit. That wasn't high on the list of victories. Now it is, but it just came out. We're leading by like 3 points. That's good. They won't report that. They won't report that. They'll look at 30 polls. Some of them are totally fake. Some of them are sickos, right? They look at polls where they interview 38% Democrats, 21% Republicans. I said, that doesn't sound like too fair to me. And they'll say, Trump is down by 5. Well, if I'm down by 5, when they're doing 38 to 21, that means I'm winning in a landslide. What kind of polls are these? No, seriously, what kind of polls are these? These people are crazy. Joe Biden will delay the vaccine, postpone therapies, prolong the pandemic, shutter your schools, open your schools, please, bankrupt your small businesses, and shut down our country. He will destroy our country. And by the way, the cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. I said that a long time ago. Except when I originally said it, I had no, I felt it. I felt it was bad. I just felt it was an instinct. It can't be worse than the problem itself. So the shutdown, with alcoholism, with drugs, with abuse, with suicides, with all the things that happen, it's worse. You can't do this. You got to get your governors to open up. There aren't many of them. There aren't many of them now, but you got to. Now, one of the reasons, this is another one on we'll go to the 4th, right? November 4th. They'll be announcing, we're opening our state. So one of them, stupidly, like 3 weeks ago, announced, we think we're going to open probably around November 4th. How about that genius, okay? No, you'll all be open around a couple of days after the election. Biden even wants to lock down young and healthy Americans. Yet for those under age 50, the recovery rate is 99.98%. Think of that, 99.98. And for school kids, it's slower than, it's better than that. Biden's cruel and senseless lockdowns would cause countless deaths from suicide and from all of the problems we have, and we would have problems and economic. People lose their jobs. They lose their jobs. Their small businesses go out, or they work for small businesses or big businesses that go out. We got to open up our states. We got to tell your governor, we got to open up our states. Does anybody like your governor? Do you like him? Okay, let's have it. Who likes the governor? Is he going to win re-election? Who does not like the governor? All right. It's interesting. Lots of luck, Governor. They got to open up. Now, a lot of governors that did this, Michigan, the only one that was allowed to go around and roam was her husband, right? He was allowed to go fishing and sailing. Nobody else was. They had to stay locked up in their house. But we won a Supreme Court case against them. They found it unconstitutional that she locked down the state of Michigan. I just left Michigan. I gave a speech in 32-degree weather in the rain. And they're great people, they're strong people. So I said, you know what I'll do? I won't put on a hat, okay? And I'll just stand there in the rain, and I'll freeze and I'll make a speech. But I'll tell you, there was such love, it was incredible. We're winning Michigan, too. No, we're winning Michigan. I had a nice hat, I was going to put it on, and they were waiting for 4 or 5 hours. I mean, I said, I feel so guilty. I mean, I was on time, but they get there very early. Like probably some of you got here very early, right? Got here early. All these front rowers I know got here. I know the front rowers get here very early. I mean, we have it where they get 3 or 4 days in advance. Were you here 3 or 4 days? No. I know, will you vote? You promise you voted for Trump right now? He's great. No, we have great people. We've never had, and 4 years ago, we had the most enthusiastic campaign anyone's ever seen, probably there ever was. This campaign, and I never thought I'd say it, has more enthusiasm, more support than we did 4 years ago. Huh? Because, 4 years ago, I was a business guy. I was successful. I was very successful. I came, and I said I was going to do. Go ahead. Get it out of your system. So 4 years ago, I came, and I saw trade. Probably trade was the big, it just drove me crazy. We're losing all our factories, closing all our factories. They're moving to Mexico. They're making it in China. They're doing all these things. A lot of people, a lot of places moved up to Canada. Canada was very tough on us. But I saw this, that's probably the main reason I ran. But I saw it all happening. It was so easy to see. I saw it all happening. And that's probably the main reason I ran. But 4 years ago, I was just saying, I'm going to cut your taxes. I'm going to cut regulations. I'm going to rebuild your military. I'm going to do all the things I said. And actually, I did more because, like Space Force, we opened up Space Force. I never said I was going to do that. I learned that after watching Russia and China and everything else. I learned that after I was here, but I never took. One of these people right back there said he may be the only politician that actually did more than he promised during the campaign. I believe that's true. So we have actually more enthusiasm because I did everything. I mean, I said the wall was the wall was just very expensive. The Border Patrol wanted a certain way, very expensive. They're right. They wanted vision, they wanted steel, they wanted rebar, they wanted concrete inside. And they said, you know what? I'll do it. I want to do it the way you want it. I don't want to give you any excuses for doing a bad job in the border. Gee, if you only would have built the wall right. But all of the things that I said, I did. Everything I said, I did. And that gives this campaign more energy than a guy that was successful that said, hey, I'm going to do a lot of things, because you've been hearing that for years from politicians, and they don't do it. They don't get the job. As I said about Biden the other night at the debate, Joe, you're all talk and no action, and it's true. And I'd look at him and I'd say, Joe, why didn't you do it? You know, I'd say, well, we should have done this. We should have done that. I say, Joe, you've been there for 47 years, and you left 3.5 years ago. It's not like you left 30 years ago. You left 3.5 years ago. And I only ran because of you, Joe. Because if you and Obama did a good job, I wouldn't have run. I mean, there would have been no reason. And if I did, I probably wouldn't have been able to win. So I only ran. It was quite insulting to him, but that's the way it is. Biden had no plan, no idea. He didn't have a clue. He just wants to lock up this country. I mean, he really does. He's going to lock it up. If one guy walks up and says, sir, I think we should close up our country. Okay, that sounds good to me. While letting rioters and looters run wild, or as Joe calls them, peaceful protesters. I call you protesters. You know why? Because there's a legal definition. You can't have a political rally. They did that to keep me out, right? So I said, oh, I see. You're protesters. The only thing you can do is protest, because they wanted to protect anarchists, rioters, people that were burning down your stores. So you have the absolute right to protest. So I call this a friendly protest, okay, officially, not a rally. This is not a rally, it's a friendly protest. Okay, now we've gotten over the legal hurdle, haven't we? These people don't believe in science. They believe in whatever gives them power and whatever gives them control. The Biden plan will crush you and crush your family. We will crush the virus and make this country more successful than it's ever been. We have that kind of potential. We have the foundation set. You see what's happening. You see the kind of numbers we're doing. We're going to make our country more successful quickly than it's ever been. When the China plague arrived, we moved heaven and earth to fight the disease. We airlifted medical supplies, pioneered groundbreaking therapies, reduced the fatality rate 85%. Think of that, 85, and now it's actually higher than that. Well, here I am. I mean, I'm here, right? I said, give me that stuff. Whatever the hell it is, doctor, I want it. The next day I woke up and I felt like Superman, right? I said, get me the hell out of here. I have to go to Wisconsin tonight. And saved over 2 million lives. Our excess mortality rate has been 42% less than Europe's. Think of that, 42%. And we're working with Europe very closely. Look, they have a problem, it should have never been allowed to leave China. Ever. It should have never been allowed. It didn't go. Once it got Wuhan province, it never got out, but it came to the USA and Europe and the rest of the world. I'm working to make the breakthrough treatment I received. So what we're doing is we're going to make the Regeneron, and Eli Lilly, a great company, has a similar antibody drug, and we're going to make that available to people that need it free. All I know is I didn't feel great. And after I took that, I woke up the next morning, and I tell you, I felt like I could take on the world. I said, let me at it. And here we are, standing here freezing. Thanks to our relentless efforts, 97% of all current emergency room visits are for something other than the virus. You don't hear these numbers from the fake news. Think of that, 97%. And we're on track to deliver 100 million doses of safe vaccine. And I say, we're turning the corner. We're turning the corner. We're rounding like this racetrack. Look at this, it's perfect. We're rounding the curve. We will vanquish the virus. And by the way, we're going to have the vaccine, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, Moderna, great companies, and others too. We have the vaccine. We're going to have it very soon, like very soon. We're going to deliver it. But without it, also, we're rounding the curve. We're rounding the corner. It's happening. We're going to emerge stronger than ever before. Biden's made a corrupt bargain, and the Democrats, in exchange for his party's nomination. He has handed control of his party over to a rage-filled socialists and Marxists and left-wing extremists. You see it. You see it in Portland. How about Portland? We could solve that problem in, I'd say, half an hour. Anarchists, you know what happens to them, right? They go back home to mom and dad, and they also stay in the basement. That's what they have in common with Joe. Well, no, Joe, when that one clip, you know, that was yesterday that took place. That was what happened. He was in the basement. He heard that we were doing really well in Pennsylvania, which we are. We're at least 2 or 3 points up. Doesn't sound like much. You know what happens with us? They'll say he's 3 points up, and then you win by like 10. There are a lot of hidden votes out there. I don't know if I'm supposed to be complimented by that or not, but they're hidden votes. They don't want to talk. See, they are all action, right? They call that all action. If Biden wins, the flag-burning radicals on the streets will be running for, you know that, they'll be running your government. They'll be running your government. This election day, you must stop the anti-American radicals by delivering Joe Biden and those far-left Democrats, all Democrats, a thundering defeat. This has to be a big defeat so we can end it. Just end it. And Joe Biden, as you see, is a corrupt politician. He wants to send you jobs to China while his family rakes in millions from the Chinese Communist Party. Millions. And he gets money from Ukraine. He gets money from Russia. How about Ukraine? His son sits on the board, no energy experience, no nothing, didn't have a job. Father becomes vice president. He becomes in charge of Ukraine. Son goes on the board of Burisma. Goes on the board of Burisma, $183,000 a month. Would you say that's good? Would you say that's good? If Biden wins, China will own the USA if this happens, and they don't want me to win. They don't want me. We charge them tens of billions of dollars worth of tariffs. We never took 10 cents from China. And now we gave out, where's Hunter? He's going, where's Hunter? Where is Hunter? By the way, come to think of it, how about the laptop from hell? That's called the laptop from hell. And then you see Shifty Schiff. It was Russia that created the laptop. Oh, it was Russia. Shifty Schiff. He stands there with a straight face, watermelon-shaped head, like a watermelon. It was Russia. I said, oh no, here we go again. When we win, you win, Wisconsin wins, and America wins. That's what's going to happen. We're joined today by members of Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce. They really helped us with this location. And, you know, we were going to be out at the airport, but the governor made it very difficult. So I said, that's all right, get a location, friendly people. And your states, they really are, your state's Chamber of Commerce, and I want to thank them very much. Where are you folks? Where are you guys? What a group of people. Where? Where the hell are you? I met you at the airport. There they are. Good job you did. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good job. I said, how are we doing? They said, sir, you're going to win easy. That's pretty good. They slightly know the area. I'm thrilled to receive their first ever presidential endorsement. They've been around a long time, and they gave us we've got a lot of endorsements. Got a lot of newspaper endorsements today, too. A lot of them all over the country. And virtually every law enforcement group has given us the endorsement. Even New York's finest, they've never endorsed a presidential candidate, and they want to be given back. We've got to respect our law enforcement. We've got to let them do what they have to do. Also with us is candidate for Congress, Derek Van Orden, who's terrific. Where's Derek? Derek, good luck. I hear good things, Derek. I hear good things. Derek Van Orden, please vote for him. Win. His competition is not good, not good. And also state GOP chairman Andrew Hitt. Andrew, thank you. Are we winning, Andrew, please? If we don't win, we're going to fire you so fast. I hear good. Yeah, just get out that vote. Get out the vote. Together we built the greatest economy in history, and now we're doing it again. Make America great again, right? Again. See all those hats? Those hats are obsolete. It's make America great again. We increased middle-class family income over $6,000 more than 5 times the gains made under the last administration. Think of that in a short period of time. African American, Hispanic American, Asian American unemployment reached their lowest levels ever recorded. Since April, we created a record 11.4 million jobs. I ended the NAFTA nightmare and proudly signed the brand new USMCA into law. That's going to be a big deal, just kicked in. Wisconsin dairy farms were decimated under the Obama and Biden nightmare. They were decimated, and now you are doing very well. And you know, Canada took advantage of you very much. You know that, right? Not anymore. Under the USMCA, our dairy exports to Canada are expected to surge by at least 100%. And we got rid of the tariffs. You know the tariffs? You know, they used to charge you didn't know this. You like the song, Oh Canada, right? Yeah, hockey game, nice song. Oh Canada, their national anthem, right? By the way, they stand for our national anthem. Our people have to stand for our national anthem. They have to stand. But Canada treated us badly. 287% tariff. Can you believe that? Think of it. I learned about that. I said, it's time to get out of that crazy NAFTA. NAFTA was a terrible thing. When GM went bankrupt, Biden and Obama threw the workers of Delphi Corporation to the wolves. Their pensions were wiped out. I signed an order to restore the pensions of Delphi and others, and health care benefits promised the workers, and these are workers in Michigan, Ohio, and Wisconsin that got really promised a lot of things, and it never happened. We took care of it. I will never let anyone rip off our great American worker. Took care of it. They were treated very badly with a lot of promises from Biden and Obama. By the way, do you see this? You see the people they get for the crowds? Obama was up. He drew flies today, flies. He drew nobody. They had the cars are honking, right? Honk, honk, honk. Let's go home. I never saw anything like this. They have cars. They have like 12 cars. Now they have circles. They have bigger circles for cars together. I never saw anything like it. Obama has no crowd. I thought he had like a crowd, right? He doesn't have anything. The only one that has smaller crowds is Sleepy Joe Biden. He's got nobody. And the press doesn't like covering our crowds. We have the opposite. We have so many people. They don't like it. But they never show that nobody. Joe was speaking yesterday. There was nobody there before they carried him off the stage. Think of it. He got nervous speaking to nobody. But that wasn't nervous. That was another problem. Under my leadership, we achieved the most secure border in U.S. history. My opponent's insane immigration plan completely eliminates U.S. borders by implementing nationwide catch and release. He would make you know what that is? You catch a criminal, murderer, rapist, you catch them and you have to release them into the United States. Then within 2 or 3 years, they're supposed to come back for a trial. We had an argument during the debate. I said, Sleepy Joe, they don't come back. Yes, they do. They proudly come back. No, Joe, they're murderers. They don't come back, Joe. I turned out to be right, but, you know. He would make every community into a sanctuary city for violent criminals. We invested $2.5 trillion in the U.S. military. You know that, right? You were a big beneficiary in this state. A lot of business in this state, including nearly $6 billion to save the historic shipyard, Marinette Marine. You know that, right? And they're great. I was there 4 or 5 months ago. I was watching. They build beautiful. Beautiful. Looks like a yacht with lots of weapons on it. The only difference is you got rockets all over the damn thing, but it is beautiful. We killed the leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi. We took out the world's #1 terrorist. Soleimani is dead. We took out 100% of the ISIS caliphate also. When I took over, it was a mess. I withdrew from the last administration's disastrous Iran nuclear deal. $150 billion, $1.8 billion in cash. You know what we got? Nothing. I recognized the true capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. And instead of never-ending wars, we are forging peace in the Middle East. We're doing it. It's like working out really well. 3 countries already, and many are lined up. They're all wanting to get in. A vote for Republicans is a vote for the American dream. We are the party of Abraham Lincoln. It's a vote for the American dream. And in conclusion, over the next 4 years, we will make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world, and we will end our reliance on China once and for all. It's already happening. We will make our medical supplies right here in the United States, right here in Wisconsin. We will hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement, and we will ban deadly sanctuary cities. You don't want the sanctuary cities. We will defend the right to life, religious liberty, free speech, and the right to keep and bear arms. It's very important. Supreme Court, you got to do that. You got to remember, a lot of people think that's why I got elected, because of the Supreme Court. And we've got already 3 great justices, and Amy yesterday. And by the end of the first term, we'll have close to 3, maybe more, but approximately 300 federal judges, including Court of Appeals judges. It's a record. It's a record. We will maintain America's unrivaled military might, and we will ensure peace through strength. So the $2.5 trillion, the greatest rockets and missiles, hydrosonic, the greatest in the world. They go 7 times faster than what we have today. We have tanks, we have planes, we have bombers, we have submarines. We've rebuilt our military. We have the greatest equipment, the greatest military force in the world. Russia, China, everybody, they are envious. Nobody thought we could do this, and we've done it all. A lot of it's made right here, but all made in the USA. All made in the USA. Our nuclear is now in tippy-top shape, and just hope that we never have to use it, that's all. We will end surprise medical billing, require price transparency, already signed January 1st, it goes into effect. Lower drug prices even further, favored nations, nobody can believe I did it. We're going to get the lowest prices in the world, and we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. America will land the first woman on the moon, and the United States will be the first nation to land an astronaut on Mars. And NASA right now is the talk of the world as a space center. Again, it was closed and a mess when I took over. We will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education to our schools. We will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. And we will live by the timeless words of our national motto, "In God we trust," right? For years, you had a president who apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America and standing up for the great people of Wisconsin. That's what we're doing. So get your friends, get your family, get your neighbors, get your coworkers, even grab your boss if you have to. Come on, boss, you got to go out and vote. You got to get out and vote. Got to get out. This is a thing you got to do. Just remember the great red wave. It's now just starting to form, and they know it's coming. They know it's coming. We didn't come this far and fight this hard to surrender our country back to the corrupt Washington swamp. On November 3rd, we must finish the job, drain the swamp, go out and vote. Can be before November 3rd. Go out and vote. From Green Bay to La Crosse, from Madison to Milwaukee, and from Janesville to right here in West Salem, We inherit the legacy of red-blooded American patriots who poured out their heart, sweat, and soul to secure our liberty and defend our freedom. We stand on the shoulders of American heroes who crossed the oceans, settled a continent, tamed the wilderness, laid down the railroads, raised up the great skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and made America the single greatest nation in the history of the world, and the best is yet to come. Proud citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people. With your help, your devotion, and your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting. And we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together with the incredible people of Wisconsin, we have made America powerful again. We have made America wealthy again. We have made America strong again. We have made America proud again. We have made America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Wisconsin. Thank you very much. Get out and vote. Thank you very much.